All right. Let's just jump straight to this. Man, O'Shevitz. Hey, I have a question for some of you guys. Who amongst you guys have flown to the Midwest and back since the last time I saw you yesterday afternoon? I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm doing great. I slept sitting up, and that's, I think that's the key to a healthy, vibrant life is napping while southwesting. So if I'm a little loopy, that would be why, I think. By and large, that would be why. Does this work like this? Hold on, let me see if this would be fun. Put that like that? Sure, why not? Because holy smokes, look at this. I just want to show you guys something. Will this work? Hold on, it'd probably go to this wrong screen. Nope, there you are. Look, that's just the Twitch chat all by itself. Look at you guys emoting like crazy, subscribing and all that kind of stuff. Look at that. So throw some emojis in there if you would. Look at that. I'm starting to get things together, even when I'm out of my mind, lacking sleep. No, vacation starts tomorrow. I will be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I have radio on Saturday, so I will be back, even though it means driving like an asshole in the middle of the night on Friday. I'm still going to be here. Don't worry about it. I'm tired just thinking about it. I'm fine, actually. So there you go. Look at that. It's a good time. But in the generalized chat room area, which includes everybody, hello, wonderful people, hello. Let's see. I should be able to let's see if I can do that with the YouTube thing. The trick is, it'd have to be this different one every goddamn time. Let me click on this. I want to show you guys something really stupid that I made. Where is it? Content. There it is. Turn the monetization on. There you go. It's totally stupid. Next. Okay. This is not anything. None of the above. All right. There you go. Submit. There's no way this is a thing. Open this guy up. Go to the actual video. Hold and pause here. I don't know if you guys saw this. But I'll bring this over just so you can. Oh no, wrong window. Let's go to that. That's how it works. And then I'll drag this over here. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have so many desktops open. It's gonna be stupid. See this one? Did you guys see the thing I made? I was messing around trying to do an AI thing to show something to Camden, and I'm not gonna tell you what I was asking for, but it wasn't this. But this is how it turned out.
Bingo!
That's it. That's the whole thing. That was I was trying to make like a little stinger thing to have, how I have, let's see, move this over here real quick if I can. I've got to go, hold on. I'm in the wrong window for it. Let me show you this real quick after it finishes running. Go over to here. And,
here I am like an idiot.
Yeah. So that thing, like I've been trying to make silly things to add on to that stuff, and using AI just for the hell of it. And the cat thing was just friggin' magic. It was just, I don't know what the hell that is. It was like this business.
Bingo!
I think I can slice off the top of it and just make the cat start it here. Just leave it there at some point. Just yeah. So I'm making Adam Carolla has a show. Yeah, you don't know that? Adam Carolla is now officially LA's crusty old man yelling, "Get off my lawn" mascot. This is what he does. Adam Carolla does this. He had Drew on the other day. That's how far they've all fallen. But and I'm sure he does just fine. He's like, dude's a multimillionaire. He can, whatever. But they built this little studio in his multi-million-dollar house or wherever the fuck he does the show from. Or I don't know if he stiff arms his staff and doesn't want him coming to the house. Maybe that could possibly be it. Anyways, doesn't matter. They do it at a studio. I think I remember this Radio One, was it Westwood One studio in Culver City, and it looks very similar. I don't know if he rebuilt it or that's where they were. Or that's where they are still. But he does his podcast from there, and he's trying to be like, what was it, Don Ives or whatever his name was, that guy? He's trying to be the new, like, belligerent old fart, just bitching about things. The reason this stood out, I think, as a clip was, it's been a wonderful series right now, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say, where Hal Sparks tracks the MAGA worm turning. That's right. The MAGA worm has been turning, and I have been pointing it out for quite some time. People are finally catching on. I actually saw somebody on MSNBC quoting my "the land and the king are one" bit earlier today about Trump and how MAGA views him. And I'm very proud of that fact. It's about goddamn time that people start recognizing that my cultural references are extra primo good, sir. So this is another example of that, but it's not just the Epstein stuff. They're all start getting really restless. This one I'll explain in a minute. Peanut butter dickhead, and I don't know why they reversed it because I guess he was looking he was looking at Vinny or somebody else. And they just flipped the image. I don't know, whatever. They would think we'd notice that the writing is backwards. What kind of witchcraft is this? And then, Kevin O'Leary. This is that guy from Shark Tank bitching about the stuff that's in the big, beautiful bill. And then Trump is being misled about what's in the big, beautiful bill. And he may have to, quote, come off the top turnbuckle, Representative Burchett in the Congress. And then, again, more of these. Why is the Epstein list secret? Now, these guys are new. I just saw this. CSL just put this in, and bless him for gathering these kind of things. I just saw these guys as well. This is starting to crop up on its own. There's a bunch of maggots who have, just can't allow for, that line has been crossed. They were promised something that Trump cannot deliver without incorporating his own demise. Oh, and are we up on Instagram? We are. I think we're up and running. Hi, Instagram. Thanks, Benny. We're doing on the 12th of June, we're doing a special Pride event, a reunion of some cast members and the execs in charge of the show, and in Los Angeles. For Pride, we're gonna screen an episode. They haven't told me which episode yet, or maybe they emailed me about it and I just haven't seen the email yet, which is entirely possible because I don't check email because I don't work in an insurance firm. And so anyways, that's coming up on the 12th. Then the 14th, Nerd Halen, Station Casino, right here in Las Vegas, Followed shortly after on the 24th with the Ultimate Jam Night Salute to Live albums, where I'm fairly certain we will be opening with Cheap Trick live from Budokan song, the song Hello, and then Hello There, and then end with Avita Zane. I feel like you kind of have to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh, hello there.
I'm going to have him put that quote in the opening of that show. That'll be awesome. What's up, Slack, Jonathan? Good to see you. And I also have a Buy a King's X record t-shirt available on my store now. I finally made that thing after dicking around with trying to find, graphics that lived up to it. So I don't know. This is Francis Wines. Francis Wines. This dude whining about something. Normally, I don't talk about scandals involving pedophiles, but when I do, I choose Trumpies. So, this is Franchise Wines celebrating Michael's birthday with the 22% off of Franchise Wines. This is where, by the way, there's a ton of setup networks, and I think Valuetainment is probably one of them as well, that they just like hump along on the internet about a particular product or something, and then at some point, it's almost like a sleeper agent. They start getting involved in politics after they built up a certain amount of subscribers. Now, I got way more subscribers than these dudes do, and I don't have that many. But it's interesting to me that they've got 21,000 subscribers, but this video has 100,000 views, which says to me they are buying views. That's what it says. All right, but we'll see. Here, this is Epstein didn't unalive himself. It's okay. Hold on. Why is this? Okay.
Matter. I did something recently on that because this latest victim, that committed suicide, Jeffrey. Yeah. It's sickening to me that we don't have accountability, that this list is probably never going to be, really made public. Who knows?
These guys are all just throwing in the towel. And you know why? Because Trump is president. You're not going to hear anything about this while he's president because he was Epstein's best and only friend. So I guess besides Ghislaine Maxwell, who was more of like a co-conspirator. I mean, I guess they both qualify. But again, Trump's only had two friends that we know of that have had any legs at all. It was Roy Cohn and Jeffrey Epstein, and both of them fuck kids. So that's his taste in humans.
About how it's going to be redacted and whose names are going to appear and whose names are going to.
Whose name isn't going to appear? Who do you think? What do you want to flip? Anybody want to flip a fucking coin?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that are being covered up that the American people don't know. I've been very vocal about it.
As an American person, I do know what's being covered up. I think we all know what's being covered up. What we don't understand is why a lot of you assholes just can't ring the bell. You walk up to the bell, you grab the mallet, you wander around the bell, but you just can't bring yourself to hit the goddamn thing.
Especially about this whole Doge thing. This is something crazy. I said, the only way you bring these people to the table, if everybody got up and said, hey, we're not paying our taxes until you're accountable to us on everything that's going on, where all this money is being spent. There's no way for us really to put pressure on people to find accountability.
Well, then why'd you bother voting for Trump? Okay, anyways, we don't need to watch all of this. They're all sounding the same alarm. Same shit. Same dipshittery everywhere. I'll give you another example right here. Let's hear what Adam Carolla. He'll at some point he'll whinge about Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom. His vocally Adam Carolla. I don't know when he became the male Maria Bartiromo, but he did. And most of it's just like bitching about the homeless people and people he sees in L.A. as if it's like the people who are like, New York's become so dangerous. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Go watch videos about it in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s. You have no idea what violent New York looks like. So here we go. Let's give this a try. Same thing with LA. Oh, why is this all muted?
Do have some news.
Well, we'll do some of that.
All right. So, speaking of the man-woman nutsack, this is applicable. I've been paying attention to this story on Instagram for a while. Alliance Defending Freedom is representing a Christian camp in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Idra Haji is the name of the camp. It stands for I'd Rather Have Jesus, and it's a Christian camp there.
Idra Haji. That sounds like Trump trying to read I'd rather have Jesus in a teleprompter. The great camp. Idra Haji. Did you clip the colonoscopy?
The ages are between 6 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
And it served Colorado families of faith. And they say that they actually accept people of all backgrounds, but they have to be okay with them, identifying like girls as girls and boys as boys because they have separate sleeping, right?
Yeah.
And the camp filed a complaint in federal court back a couple weeks ago challenging new state licensing rules issued by the Colorado Department of Early Childhood that allegedly required children's resident camps to permit campers access to bathing, dressing, and sleeping facilities that align with the camper's gender identity. So the camp essentially is getting shut down by the state because they don't pay attention to the First Amendment.
What the fuck happened to Colorado? Colorado
Legal weed. What the hell happened to Colorado? Nothing. It's fine. Also, they pre-select out those people anyways. If you go to the camp, you're not going to send your trans kid to the I'd rather have Jesus camp. You're not going to. They're not. This is not going to be a problem. They can build like a gender non-conforming tent and with a shitter in it, and it will go unused every day, all day. Nobody's parents. I mean, and again, if they are sending them there, it's not so that you can respond positively to their gender affirmation, right? What the hell happened to Colorado? I don't know. It's all the fucking hikers. I blame John Denver.
used to be a normal place, like home of Coors and John Denver. You know what I mean? And then they fucking broke hard. Something happened.
Was it
there.
the legalization of pot?
I don't know, but it's why you have an out of control homeless.
No, because it only affected basically Denver.
Problem and a crime problem, and why you're ruining your city. Something happened.
Thanks,
like
Tony.
you could chart Minneapolis, Minnesota, and like Denver, Colorado.
Basically, he's like, there aren't that many black people in Denver. How did it go so wrong? That's what he's saying. He's like, you could chart how many more, like, as the black population expands in these areas. That's his idea of the city taking a shit.
As a kid, it was just fucking Paul Bunyan and horseback riding and the Flatiron Mountain Range and the Rockies and dudes and camping and hunting and
that's most of what Colorado still is. Yeah.
Minnesota was.
Yeah. What businesses operated there when you were a kid? What big companies had offices? I don't know, in Denver or Colorado City or I don't know, any like shit in Riffle. Right? In Rifle, Colorado, where Bobert is from. I mean, was there like a Humana West office system? There's a giant office block where a bunch of people work there, that aren't these fucking homesteader Ayn Randian people that you have this illusion live in Colorado proper? Because out in the rural areas, that's exactly what it's like. But the cities are the cities are the cities. Because everybody has to work there because you need the help.
Bud Grant and Minnesota Vikings and stuff, and you guys went off the fucking rails in the last, 20 years, and you've completely ruined your brand.
It's such a beautiful...
Yeah, the brand of... That's what I write. Yeah, nobody wants to move to Colorado anymore. You just look at the mountains and you want to puke. Look at these mountains. They used to... Every person who tried to climb them, they'd kill 80% of the people. They just either fall off or freeze to death. And now you guys are including people in swimming pools and stuff. It's disgusting.
Full place too, and I feel like there's lots of normal people. This is crazy though, because under the new state policy, according to this article, the camp must choose between upholding its religious beliefs and mission or abandoning those in order to keep its license. So they could completely use their license. It gets even better. They're going to send in a regulator.
It's the other. First off, it's more academia. It's like, well, you got to send in somebody to go in and verify. Like, you don't. You can leave people. You can leave people alone.
Yep.
Why'd you just? Yeah. If somebody just wants to violate the state constitution or the laws or whatever, if they're just doing it on their private property that they own and are actually using as a corporate structure and are selling things in the state, engaging in commerce with the rest of the, if they just decide they want a whites-only camp, you can leave them alone. Right? I mean, yes, the law changed in the late 1800s, early 1900s, but you could just leave them alone. You don't have to send somebody in to check and see if they're applying the law that was put in after the Civil War. That's what he's saying. That's what this is. If they want to create a whites only militia and start accumulating guns, you don't have to send somebody in to check. Especially since it's an amusement park and they're selling tickets that allegedly to everyone.
There could be a Boy Scouts and there can be a Girl Scouts, and then boys could join the Boy Scouts and girls could join the Girl Scouts, and then we'll be done. We do not need to tear everything down.
Well, apparently, I mean, Honestly, and I think the ADF is arguing that like this is just in complete violation of their First Amendment rights, because they're going to have a licensed specialist that would visit the camps to make sure that they're in compliance with letting boys sleep with girls and girls sleep with boys.
Colorado's a place where they had the Masterpiece cake baker guy, and they went in and wanted the gay cake, and then they wanted the trans cake, and then it had to go to the Supreme Court, and
It's also where they had the Aurora shooter, which is almost single-handedly why we don't have why theater tickets went off. Everybody wants to blame COVID for why people don't go to movie theaters anymore. You can track the downturn in tickets in regular order movies, and not big event ones. Regular order movie sales went in the shitter after that dude, dressed as the Joker, painting his hair orange, and came in there and just shot a bunch of people while they're sitting watching a movie. That was it. But do you think he's going to go, that fucking ruined the movie industry, and we used to be able to go to the movies. You could leave it, you get your popcorn, and you sit there and you eat things, but these gun fuckers want everybody to be armed out to the teeth and have anybody be able to buy one. Is he bitching about that? Do you hear a complaint about that? A multi-billion-dollar industry, and the root of entertainment in the United States largely was basically had its epitaph written at that moment. Is he? I don't know. Maybe he did bitch about it. I highly doubt it. He certainly isn't bringing it up the way he's grinding on this shit.
Destroy a small business because a bunch of nut jobs went in there and filed lawsuits against it.
Yep.
And you guys were all down with it, and it went all the way to Supreme Court. You guys, I don't know what happened with Colorado, but you fuckers lost it. You've lost it. I don't know why you'd want to go down this road. All it does is ruin cities and ruin states.
Or
I don't know. I mean, there's an argument that a lot of people think that about Jesus Camp.
a camp that's existed for 70 years and like serviced thousands of children. Like, and they also, the camp was very clear. They were like, you do not have to identify as like Judeo-Christian person to send.
Right, because they can't, because that's the law. You don't. You're going to be taught that stuff. But again, it is a Christian identity camp. It's, arguably, that's where you send your kid if they're not paying attention in church. I went to like summer camp, Christian summer camp, 2 years in a row when I was 10 and 11 years old. It was great, by the way. I have stories to tell. But one of the worst ones being is that somebody was skipping rocks across a gully that they dug. It was like a ditch, but it flew in and hit this one girl in the forehead, and she just basically had a rock stuck in her head, and they couldn't pull it out, or her head would start bleeding like crazy. So this girl was taken to the hospital with like this skipping rock stuck in her head, this perfectly round, like UFO-shaped rock just sticking out of her head, like she'd cocked her bill cap to the side, and it was just kind of like there. And I was walking along holding the rag on her head to the bus where they were going to use this. They had this like school bus that they took everybody in and out of town on, and they were going to use that to get her into town because the idea that an ambulance was coming. It's fucking Kentucky, so they put her there, and I'm walking her with her head like this, to the bus. Memories like the corners of my mind. Christian camp used to be so great. Then they ruined it by chucking rocks at everybody's goddamn forehead. What happened to you in your Christian camp, in the old days? Now everybody's wearing helmets. It's terrible.
Child to camp here, you just have to say, like, we will separate boys and girls.
Right.
I don't see how this is a problem.
Getting back to our initial conversation, when you talk to dudes,
they go, as a dude, as a dude, as I'm duding, when I'm duding around, one thing, it's like a no-go, is Jiminy Glick glasses. If you're going to wear glasses, either slimline it, and only when you need it, get something that makes you look like a tech billionaire, but what kind of an asshole wears the big Jiminy Glick? Sorry.
They want to go to the garage and wrench on their projects or go hunting, or they want to.
That's right. I was wrench. You guys know that. That's what Adam does. He's a man. he likes to go into the garage and wrench on his project. It sounds like he's throwing up on them. Oh my God, why is there vomit all over this birdhouse? I was making a kit birdhouse and I wrenched all over it.
Stuff, you know what I mean? And you go, how about you spend all your time trying to ruin some Christian camp? And they go, I don't care.
Not a priority.
I want to go work on stuff. I got
But if you tell the
I see. It's the chicks.
the lake crossing,
they don't
dudes.
have hobbies. Their hobby is getting involved with your shit.
Yep.
Their hobby is ruining your stuff.
Yep.
They don't have their own stuff. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's true.
It's so true. It's it's not true. Activism isn't a hobby. I would argue, a calling and something people work towards. And of course, the application of the law part of it is normal to everything. If you want to change it, change the law. I mean, win votes, change hearts and minds, explain yourself, have a real conversation instead of just yelling at fucking clouds.
Most guys, any guy I know who's a wrencher or builder.
Yeah, I'm a wrencher. That's what you call a guy who works with mechanical bulls. I round up mechanical bulls. I'm a rancher. I'm a wrencher. You get it. A wrencher? What the fuck?
Or whatever. All they want to do is be left alone to work on their stuff.
That's right. Yeah. They just want to be alone. Like George Michaels.
No interest what you do in your camp. That's your business. It's your camp.
Yeah, I mean, if they heard something awful was going down, I mean, I think they'd probably respond, maybe pick up a wrench and go there.
Their business is getting involved with other people's business.
Yeah.
That's their hobby.
Yeah, they have to get in the way of it all.
Right.
Of the parents, of the religion.
Yes. They can't have it.
Of the individual.
Yes.
You must listen to the state.
Yes.
So this one's kind of interesting.
It is. It's very interesting. I don't even know what it is, but it is.
Are you an Epstein didn't kill himself person?
I tend not to believe a lot of the stuff I've been hearing lately because it's all turned out to be a lie.
Okay.
But
this is like those Trump was always right people, or everything Alex Jones said was right, and it's like no, actually, like almost nothing. The only thing that they've ever gotten right is the stuff that is self-evidently right that even the regular news was talking about. And everything that they've predicted in some sort of extraordinary way that they put their own personal stamp on, none of it came true, and it's all been bullshit. And this is just lazy, nihilist, grandpa yells at crowds bullshit.
I do look at Kash Patel and Bongino as pretty straight shooters.
Yeah.
So
Of course you do. I mean, you have no evidence for why that would be, except that Trump hired them, and that's enough. What more evidence do you need than the fact that Trump walks in and you start gaping your butthole at him? That you will do anything he does or says must be right because he's against the people that you wag your fist at impotently, semi-weekly or whatever the fuck the show's
like
on.
If they came down on the side of suicide, I would tend to listen to them more than I would listen to.
If he knows they did.
Let's say Jake Tapper.
Well, we can take a listen. So
Okay.
they actually came down on the side of suicide.
Yeah, I
and
heard
we
that.
we have a clip.
Did you hear that? Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, don't if shit. This is him managing his language around it. Because if this was anything else, if Biden or anybody from the Biden Justice Department came out and said Epstein killed himself, they'd go, this is bullshit, proof positive. That, like, we need to release these files right now.
Here.
Epstein
Great.
committed suicide.
We've seen this a bunch.
People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing.
By the way, of all the reasons why they said this was a suicide or whatever, this is the dumbest reason. I've seen the bars and the walls and the stuff they have in there and where the toilet is. I know this place. Therefore, something that happened couldn't have happened. It's ridiculous, especially when you could simply go. I've been in there, and the sheets they use, we had to make changes because we thought you couldn't string yourself up with them. Turns out you can. Whatever the thing was, right? We were under the impression that, he was, what his room was like, there was nothing in there that he could use to do himself in. We were wrong. So we've had to change everything in that jail when we came in so that nobody else does that because we want to bring these guys to justice, right? That's what you would say. You would go, it happened, he's dead, and I'm saying he did it himself. How did he do it? Well, he did it with his bed sheets, apparently, and they were allegedly paper bed sheets, which, again, anybody who's trying to tear a phone book in half knows that if you twist stuff strong enough or wrap them together, you could absolutely make something fairly profound. I don't know if they're designed that way to keep you from doing yourself in or to keep you from escaping by tying them together and climbing out like Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. But the point is, that's the point you would make. You wouldn't just go, I've seen the building, I've been in that place. He killed himself. Like, that's not an answer. It's been the weirdest part of that for me. And again, not that I really give a shit as long as he's really dead, which is also another question, I suppose.
You know a suicide when you see one, and that's...
Yes, and I watched it personally. Whoa. Nobody saw it. That's the point. It wasn't on video. No, all right.
That was.
He killed himself. You want me to... I've seen the whole file.
I mean, we've seen this a bunch of times, and it just gets better every time watching the two of them kind of squirm around this shit because they know how maggots are going to hear it.
Killed himself.
So
I would tend to believe Bongino. I do not know Cash Patel that well, but I would tend to believe him. On the other hand, my part of my entire identity is impotent, nihilistic whining. And I've centered a lot of that on some sort of like woke and choke nonsense. And so going back on this shit makes me look like a right piece of shit. The fact that nothing ever comes out about anything to do with Epstein is a little curious.
Who was president when he was arrested and the raid happened where the evidence was allegedly gathered? And then after that, who was president when the case started to proceed forward for the victims, right? To make sure that they were able to divide up his estate, at least with the information that they had. And then who came back in and all of a sudden you're not getting any information anymore? I'll have to look it up. I mean, I'm not up on these kind of details.
well, it's that I get that. I get why conspiracy theories develop because
Because Donald Trump was his best friend and he's president of the United States and was when he got caught, had his place raided, and died. I'm fucking with you. It's probably something else.
it's like the lack of transparency.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying is this is one of the biggest. I mean, look, we're now getting everything that P. Diddy did and every celebrity that showed up, and we're getting all the testimonials,
All the
and,
victim statements, all the stuff.
Yeah, that's because he's alive and on trial. You do realize that.
You could fill case files.
You know that
with
there's
what's going
people
on.
that think that Diddy and Epstein were connected too. That's another conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Well, they were connected by, I think, one person. Hold on. I mean, there was somebody that linked them. And over and over and over again over the years. There was, some people, I mean, you could argue that there are actually, ironically enough, more pictures of Diddy hanging out with Trump than Epstein. Of course, Trump knew to keep his stuff with Epstein on the down low after a while, so he started paring back on the number of photos he was ended up in But yeah, there's a lot of. I would think that. I mean, I don't know if you chat room. You think that qualifies as a connection? I mean, it also might be why we're not hearing a lot about Trump's relationship with the guy. That is one of the things that isn't showing up in this stuff. Yeah. Huh. I mean, I don't think he went to Diddy parties because, again, I think there were too many black people there for him, for Trump. But if they had been any different, think of Epstein as the white Diddy in that regard. Yeah, I think so. I think Trump is the linchpin between the two of them.
If you are a male porn star that...
All right. Okay, that's easy for me. I can picture that. Sure. I think a lot of other people can picture that easily with me as well. Fucking around.
Goes by the handle of the Punisher or something, you may get called into court, exposed, testimony, what have you. But Bill Clinton is different than that guy. Mm-hmm. There's an...
Yeah, so is another president. I'm trying to think of his name. Really knew the dude a lot. Hung out all the time.
Apparatus that's there to protect, like the Clintons, let's say.
Let's say, so that we don't have to say Trump.
So he was not involved with P. Diddy per se, but he may have been involved with Epstein, and Epstein is where the apparatus...
Hey, asshat. Trump was involved with both. Both. I got to tell you, like, shit. I mean, I don't know how close he was to Weinstein because I think it's and Cosby, let's say. But that dude who ran that the modeling firm, that was all full of underage girls being basically trafficked to old men on fucking barges in the off of the coast of New York, that like those guys, if there was somebody involved in that shit, Trump was knee deep in that shit all the time.
We don't have that apparatus protecting us.
And so now there's people like on the right, the far right, and part of the MAGA movement that are mad at Bongino and Kash Patel for saying this, and they're saying that the apparatus got to them.
Well,
do you think the apparatus got to them, or do you think...
Listen,
I mean, honestly, I didn't. But then seeing that clip of Bongino again, he does kind of look like a little deer in the headlights.
I will say this.
Just the fucking... I need some, like... I need, like, a tap dancing sound effect or, like, just straight up, just, like, every one of these motherfuckers. Just, like, they should just fucking have a cane. Just don't look over here. Like, anything they can. Listen to the fucking wiggling.
I will say that I think of myself as a, fairly upright guy. I'm not a liar and a blah, blah, blah. But I can tell you sort of morally, when you go, well, listen, I like this country and I'm a blue collar guy and I think we should bring manufacturing back to this country and I'm all for that. And then so.
Well, then why were you against the CHIPS Act or the infrastructure bill? Because it did all of those things. The American Rescue Plan did the same thing. It brought electric battery plants to the United States. The only jobs that have grown in Marjorie Taylor's district since she became a congressperson came from an EV battery plant that was there because of the Green New scam. So no, you're not for it.
Goes, all right, well, you're doing merch, right? And I go, yeah, well, if we do your T-shirt in Indiana, it's going to be $31 a unit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. We do China, it's $4 a unit.
Yeah, if not cheaper.
All of a sudden, I'm not quite as patriotic as I was 5 minutes earlier. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, So I do get that when people say to somebody, listen, you say this and it's going to cause a shitstorm the likes of which you've never seen. Yeah. And there's some guys you like that may get caught up in this, and it may also, it's a kind of a,
God damn, where is this going? Like lots of things to do in the lab. There's a thing over here. My goodness, is this dusty? My desk has just become, how did that happen? I really have got to get somebody in here. Where was I? Oh yeah, we were going to go to commercial.
Look, you have an agenda. You're doing great things. You really want to upset that and stop doing all the great things you're doing and blah, blah, blah.
So you're on the side of like the apparatus got to them?
People make business decisions. You see it all the time.
Yep.
Sorry. So Kash Patel and Bongholio are now in business with the Epstein enablers because the cost of their unit would go up or something.
It doesn't really make you immoral.
Fuck you, dude. We're not talking about T-shirts, you cretin.
It necessarily.
Oh. Just keep digging, asshole.
It is a business decision.
So so saying that Epstein killed himself when you don't believe he did or don't think he did isn't because the deep state got to you. It was a business decision. So they, according to Adam Carolla, insofar as we can make sense of any of this rancid horseshit he is vomiting out on his stupid fucking desk right now, the best I can gather is that they didn't do it for, because they're being leveraged or the deep state got to them. They just are being paid, and it's better for their financial bottom line if they say Epstein killed himself. So far, seriously, am I missing, chat room, am I missing any of this? Yeah, young girls aren't T-shirts. I agree. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck he thinks this analogy fits at all. This is just, I think this might be the grossest take on this we've heard. And we've heard some fucking Trump apologia. But his end decision seems to be, if I'm understanding this, that it isn't that they were leveraged or they got just compromise on them or the deep state got to them and threatened them or any of that shit. It's that they're being paid to say this, and it's morally it's the same as saving money on merch wholesale.
Everybody who manufactures something in China started off by wanting to manufacture something in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Found out how much it cost.
Expensive it was.
And then all of a sudden they start making deals. They go, well, I have employees and I got to pay them. And, if I charge 31 a unit, how
the fuck what does this have to do with whether or not Patel and Bongholio are telling the truth about Epstein doing himself in? How is, please, Adam, bring this out of the, I don't know where this goes. Put this together for us. Reassemble this Humpty Dumpty bullshit.
To pay them. And you start making concessions.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm open to that. I don't even really...
How does this relate?
Hold it against the person because 9.5 out of 10 people would do what they do.
Has he just forgotten? What does he think Epstein did for a living?
If they were in that same position, I think that's where you get like the keyboard warriors that are like conspiratorial online.
Yeah.
Hello in the comments. That if they were in the same position, they would probably do the same thing Kash and Bongino are doing.
Well,
right?
No, she brought it back. See, he was trying to ditch this conversation and talk about how, Trump's agenda is doing great, and talking about Epstein would derail it because Adam knows, just like Drew, Dr. Pinsky fucking knows, that Donald Trump hung with Epstein all the time. Never lived more than a 9-minute cab ride from the guy's house. They flew together on Epstein's plane and on Trump's plane all verified. The number of times Trump has flown on Epstein's plane is he originally said he didn't ever. Then it was 3. Then it was 7. Then they were flying under other names as far as we know. And then nobody has ever said, well, we know for a fact that Epstein flew on Trump's plane at least once, because you had this golf reporter who was there who said Trump was bitching about waiting for Epstein because he was late, and Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and an underage girl got on the fucking plane, never got the name. You think that reporter never got her name? Never got the name of the girl. Underage girl on the plane, very young girl, and just never, he goes, I assumed it was their niece. You didn't say hi? It's not that big a fucking plane, buddy. What'd they do? Hang out in the front, and the girl was sent to a cabin in the back to be chained to the wall on Trump's plane? How often did that happen? When are we going to see the Trump flight logs? I'm sorry, you were saying something about wholesale T-shirts would be too expensive if they're made in the United States, and therefore it's understandable that these guys would be, moral black holes.
I would say, look, I'm going into this position, full transparency. I'm only going to tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. But at some point, Trump might pull you aside and go, look, on this issue.
With the diamond.
With the diamond in front of his nutsack. Sit down.
I'm never forgetting that. No.
Let me just dust off my diamond.
Every time.
Here we go. Focus on the diamond. Yeah. Everyone is, look.
So you say that you're an honest person. Have you ever?
She's not letting him squirm out of it. Kudos to Alicia. She's trying to work this like a segment producer and keep him on topic. He needs to have a button under the desk that like sends an electric shock through a floor mat or something, so she knows when it's time to move on.
Pretended to work when you weren't working.
Oh, that's the next story.
Yeah, just skip it. Just fucking... That's amazing. How in the hell? Right? How is that... How does that pass for an answer? How do you not know? Hi.
Goodbye. I'm going to take her to her place.
Oh, okay. We're going to say goodbye to...
A little bit.
Yeah. This one's getting adopted. Yeah. You're getting adopted. Yeah. So bye-bye. It was lovely having you with us at the house. You're very pretty, and you have very pretty markings, and you climb all over everything. Let me jump through the sky. There you go. Everybody loves the fan. Yeah. What is this thing? Hi. Your claws in my shirt. So goodbye. We adored you. All right. Yes. You can see why this one was not like us. Automatically. Okay, hold on. I go over to here. And it could be, ow. I'm fine. All right.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.
Cam, you want to say bye? Did our food arrive?
Yeah, it's here at 8.
Okay, great. Yeah. So we got that one adopted. We got Jasper has a play date to see if he can fit with this other person's cat. And we are keeping Bucky, and he's upstairs, and so the house will normalize as of tonight. With all our cats in one thing, and then I think Bucky's there'll still be some acclimation going on, so that'll take a little bit, but so far so good. Does Murphy doesn't approve of anything, right? Your daughter had a cat like that. It's a very sweet cat, and it's a very lap-like cat. But once it's playing, it's a kitten, so it just wants to play. But the minute it gets tired, it just wants to find you and lay on you. That's why it's perfect for this person who adopted it. It's just really sweet. Yeah, Bucky's staying around. It'll be good.